All right, today we're jumping right into a big one, the massive data breach at the University of Pennsylvania. This is a fascinating and frankly terrifying case study of how a single mistake can just spiral into total chaos, public humiliation, and a legal nightmare. So let's break it down. So picture this. It's Halloween 2025, and the entire Penn community, we're talking students, staff, alumni, they all get this absolutely bizarre and offensive email. Now, this wasn't just some random spam. No, this was sent from official university accounts, and it was the first sign that something had gone terribly, terribly wrong. And the attackers weren't shy. They immediately claimed they had made off with the data of 1.2 million people. 1.2 million. Now, while that number is still being verified, a claim that big right out of the gate, it just showed everyone the staggering scale of what was happening. And that's really the key here. This wasn't some quiet, behind-the-scenes data theft. The attackers wanted to make a scene. They made it loud, they made it public. For Penn, this wasn't just a technical failure. It was a full-blown public relations disaster, and it was launched using their very own systems. So, how'd they pull it off? Well, they turned Penn's own tools against them. The attackers got into the university's Salesforce Marketing Cloud platform. From there, they had the power to email around 700,000 people, basically using Penn's own megaphone to shout about their victory. Okay, so let's get into the technical side. What was the point of entry? You know, the crazy part is, this entire breach, all of this chaos, it all came down to one single point of failure. One compromised employee account. Yep. This wasn't some sophisticated zero-day exploit. This was an attack on a person. The attack vector here was classic social engineering. It means the attacker simply tricked an employee into giving up their login details. It's such a powerful reminder that you can have the most advanced security tech in the world, but the weakest link is almost always the human element. One successful trick can bypass everything. And this wasn't just any password. The credential they stole was for a Penn key. That's the university's single sign-on, or SSO system. The best way to think about this is like a digital skeleton key. Once the attackers had it, they didn't just unlock one door. Nope, they could open doors to all sorts of high-value systems all across the university. So here's the play-by-play. Step 1, the attacker uses social engineering, tricks an employee, and steals that skeleton key. Step 2, they use that key to waltz right into a treasure trove of systems, Salesforce, SharePoint, Box. Step 3, they start downloading the goods, exfiltrating all that sensitive data. And then step 4, and this is just brazen, after Penn cut off most of their access, they used the access they still had to the marketing platform to send out that mass email, just adding insult to injury. So we know how it happened, but why? That email they sent was full of angry political rhetoric. But was that the real reason? Turns out the attackers' main goal was something much, much simpler. And there you have it, straight from the horse's mouth. The attacker flat out told reporters that the motive was money. They were after the goldmine of information in Penn's donor database. Details on ultra-high net worth individuals. The whole political thing? Apparently it was just a distraction. Maybe even just, as they called it, a fun rant. And to prove they weren't bluffing, they didn't just talk. They dropped a 1.7 gigabyte file of internal university documents on a hacking forum. We're talking memos about donors, bank transactions, internal strategy docs. This proved they had been deep inside Penn's network. And just look at the kind of data they got their hands on. This is the stuff of nightmares. You've got your standard personal information, names, birthdays, addresses, perfect for identity theft. Then you have financial data, donation history, wealth ratings, which is just a goldmine for targeted scams. And maybe worst of all, deeply personal demographic data like religion and sexual orientation, which could easily be used for harassment. All right, so the breach is public, the data's out there. What happens next? How does a huge institution like Penn even begin to clean up this kind of mess? Well, the action shifted from technical containment to a legal battlefield almost overnight. Penn's response was pretty much by the book, the standard crisis playbook. They locked everything down, they called the FBI, and they brought in the heavy hitters at CrowdStrike to do a full forensic analysis. And importantly, they announced mandatory security training for staff, a direct response to how this whole thing started. And this timeline is just wild. It shows you how fast everything can unravel. October 30th, the attacker gets in. The very next day, the data's gone and the emails go out. The day after that, the proof is online for everyone to see. And just a couple days later, bam, the lawsuits start rolling in.
It is a textbook modern cyber crisis.
And those lawsuits are no joke. We're talking at least 4 class action suits from alumni, all of them alleging that the university was negligent and just failed to protect their data. So the real cost of this breach isn't just in forensics or system upgrades. It's going to be paid out in courtrooms and legal fees for years. Every major breach like this is a tough lesson. So what are the big takeaways? What can other organizations, and just as important, what can you and I learn from what happened at Penn? For any company or university out there, the checklist is pretty clear. First, you have to train your people. Phishing simulations and social engineering awareness are not optional anymore. Second, multi-factor authentication. Everywhere. Seriously, MFA likely would have stopped this attack cold. Third, know who has access to what, especially in those third-party cloud apps. And finally, have a response plan and practice it before you need it. And for all of us, this is a serious wake-up call. If you think your data was in a breach like this, go freeze your credit reports. It's one of the most effective things you can do. Use a password manager to create unique, strong passwords and turn on MFA on every single account that offers it. And from now on, just be extra suspicious of any unexpected email or phone call that tries to create a sense of urgency. And that really brings us to the big, kind of scary question at the end of all this. This entire multi-million-dollar incident started because one person was tricked into giving up one password. As things like single sign-on make our lives easier, they also raise the stakes. So it really makes you wonder, is the human factor, our own trust, our own fallibility, the one vulnerability that we can never, ever fully patch?